Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Welcome to morning Bhagavatam class. Please forgive me if I speak something wrong. I'm just trying to read and go through what Acharyas told. So we are still working on this Bhagavatam, 3rd canto, 24th chapter. So it's all about how Kardama Muni helping his mother to answer her questions. So Kardama Muni leaves home and he leaves Devahuti in the protection of his son Kapila. And when he leaves with Kapila Mahamuni, Devahuti asks one question like Aham Mameti. So please dispel my illusion due to false ego created by Maya. She will be asking a few questions to Lord Kapila. So then Lord Kapila starts describing several factors, glories of devotional service in chapter 25, and fundamental principles of material nature in chapter 26, understanding material nature, how it works in chapter 27, and Lord Kapila instructions on execution of devotional service in chapter 28. And he further explains the devotional service in chapter 29. So descriptions by Lord Kapila of adverse fruitive activities in chapter 30. And Kapila's instructions on movements of living entities, that is in chapter 31st. And entanglement in fruitive activities in chapter 32. So this chapter mainly describes the results of the people who are attached to Artha and Kama. As they reach to moon planet, people who are attached to Swadharma with detachment, they travel through the path of the sun and attain the Lord. Next few verses talk about Hiranyagarbha, worshippers. They travel through Brahmaloka and they attain the Lord. Since no one can be liberated by Nivritta Karma, Lord Kapila confirms to better perform Bhakti Yoga and surrender to the Lord. Later verses from 16 to 21, Lord Kapila criticizes Sakama Karma. He will be talking more about people whose minds are attached to this material world, performing their duties with attachment to the fruitive act results, tormented by passion, and with their minds absorbed in household affairs. They worship their forefathers. So they are interested only in dharma, artha, and kama, and don't have any taste to the harikatha. So what will happen to them? They attain Pitraloka. So our verses is all about how people are attached to the material condition and how they attain Pitraloka and what will happen next. So this verse talks about people who perform prescribed duties from birth to death, and after their pious credits are exhausted, what will happen to them? So the next verses talks about bhakti and bhakta and bhakta symptoms. So we'll start our discussion today. I'll pray so that I will not commit any offenses. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Mena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Mena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Tapadakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandhu Jagatprate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanosute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Eva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamniti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Sunyavati Paschata Deshatarine Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. We'll recite Bhagavatam prayers. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamutirayet Sustrishosha Dadhanasya Vasudeva Kadarachetsyam Matsevaya Vipra Punya Tirtani Shevanat Shinvatam Swagata Krishna Punya Sravana Kirtanaha Hridayantastu Bhadrani Vidunoti Srutsatam Nashtaprayesha Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatiruttam Shloker Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki Tada Rajastamo Bhava Kamalobhadayascha Chetayete Rana Prithim Stitam Sattve Prasidati Evam Prasanna Manaso Bhagavad Bhakti Yogataha Bhagavad Tattva Vijnanam Mukta Sanchasya Jayate Vidyate Hridaya Grantis Chidyante Sarva Samsaya Kshiyante Chasya Karmani Drishta Evatmaneshware Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Today we will start our discussion with 3.22.20 and 21. I'll share my screen. This chapter is entanglement in fruitive activities. So 3.32.20 Dakshinena pataryamanaha pitarlokam rajanti te prajam mano prajayante smashananta kriya kritaha. Translation synonyms Dakshinena southern, Patha by the path, Aryamanaha of the sun, Pitralokam to Pitraloka, Vrajanti go, Te they Prajam their families, Anu along with, Prajayante they take birth, Smashana the crematorium, Anta to the end, Kriya fruitive activities, Kritaha performing. Translation Such materialistic persons are allowed to go to the planet called Pitraloka by the southern course of the sun, but they again come back to this planet and they take birth in their own families, beginning again the same fruitive activities from birth to the end of the life. So as we are discussing like what will happen to the people who are doing their chores, like day-to-day activities and the duties, attachment with the fruitive results, and tormented by passion, and with their minds absorbed in household affairs, they worship their forefathers. What will happen to them? They will fall down. They have to take birth and they have to take birth again. But what Srila Prabhupada ki jai. In Bhagavad Gita, 9th chapter, verse 21, it is stated that persons are elevated to the higher planetary systems as soon as their lifetimes of fruitive activities are finished. they return to this planet, and thus they go up and down. Those who are elevated to the higher planets again come back into the same family for which they had too much attachment. They are born, and the fruitive activities continue again until the end of their life. There are different prescribed rituals from birth until the end of life, and they are very much attached to such activities. So Prabhupada gave the verse 9.21, which explains more about people who are attached to fruitive activity and how they are born in the same family. 9.21. Te tam bhaktva swargalokam vishalam kshine punye mritya martya lokam vishanti evam tridharmam anuprapanna gagatam kama kama labhate. When they have thus enjoyed vast heavenly sense pleasure and the results of their pious activities are exhausted, they return to this mortal planet again. Thus, those who seek sense enjoyment by adhering to the principles of the three Vedas achieve only repeated birth and death. So, we know more about what will happen to them. And I want to read a little bit of this purport by Srila Prabhupada. One who is promoted to the higher planetary systems enjoys a duration of life and better facilities for sense enjoyment. That one is not allowed to stay there forever. One is again sent back to this earth upon finishing the resultant fruits of pious activities. He who has not attained perfection of knowledge, as indicated in the Vedanta Sutra, Janmadi Yasyataha, or in other words, he who falls to understand Krishna, the cause of all causes, becomes baffled about achieving the ultimate goal of life and is thus subjected to the routine of being promoted to the higher planets and then again coming down as if situated on a Ferris wheel, which sometimes goes up and sometimes goes down. The purport is that instead of being elevated to the spiritual world from which there is no longer any possibility to coming down, one simply revolves in the cycle of birth and death on higher and lower planetary systems. One should better take to the spiritual world to enjoy an eternal life full of bliss and knowledge and never return to this miserable material existence. So what I could analyze is childhood. We used to play, right? Yo-yo. So we casually play. We take the ball and yo-yo. We do that, and it comes up and goes down. So our life is compared to yo-yo, and Prabhupada explained more clearly that it is like a Ferris wheel. Sometimes we go up and sometimes we go down, but it's like continuous. It never ends. So we have to take birth and we have to die and take birth again. So there is no end. So, and Prabhupada gave the solution for this, saying that we should better take the spiritual world to enjoy an eternal life full of bliss and knowledge. So we never come back to this miserable material existence. So Prabhupada gave the solution for cutting off the birth and death cycle. And we'll go to the next verse. Text number 21. Tataste kshina sukrutaha punarlokam imam sati patanti vivasha devai sadyo vibrashitodayaha. Vibramsitodayaha. Synonyms. Tataha, then, they, kshina, exhausted, sukrutaha, results of their pious activities, punaha, again, lokam imam, to this planet, sati, O virtuous mother, patanti, fall, vivasaha, helpless, devai, by higher arrangement, sadhyaha, suddenly, vibramshita, cause to fall, udyaha, their prosperity. Translation. When the results of their pious activities are exhausted, they fall down by higher arrangement and again come back to this planet, just as any person raised to higher position sometimes all of a sudden falls. It is sometimes found that a person elevated to a very high position in government service falls down all of a sudden, and no one can check him. Similarly, after finishing their period of enjoyment, foolish persons who are very much interested in being elevated to the position of president in higher planets also fall down to this planet. The distinction between the elevated position of a devotee and that of an ordinary person attracted to fruitive activities is that when a devotee is elevated to the spiritual kingdom, he never falls down, whereas an ordinary person falls, even if he is elevated to the higher planetary system, Brahmaloka. It is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, Abrahma Bhuvana Loka, that even if one is elevated to higher planet, he has to come down again. But Krishna confirms in Bhagavad Gita 8.16, Mam upetya tu kaunteya punarjanmana vidyate. Anyone who attains my goal never comes back to this condition, life of material existence. We'll have a small glimpse of 8.16. Abrahma bhuvanaloka punar avartino arjuna mamupetya tu kaunteya punarjanmana vidyate. From the highest planet in the material world down to the lowest, all are places of misery, wherein repeated birth and death takes place, but one attains to my abode. O son of Kunti, never takes birth again. So Prabhupada insisting like how to take up devotional service and what is the goal and what will attain spiritual kingdom, Goloka. I want to read this small thing. It's not big. Purport Peshla Prabhupada ki jai. All kinds of yogis, karma, jnana, hatha, etc. eventually have to attain devotional perfection in bhakti yoga or Krishna consciousness before they go to Krishna's transcendental abode and never return. Those who attain the highest planetary systems, the planets of demigods, are again subjected to repeat birth and death. As persons on earth are elevated to higher planets, people on higher planets such as Brahmaloka, Chandraloka, Indraloka fall down to earth. The practice of service called Panchagni Vidya, recommended in the Chandrodaya Upanishad, enables one to achieve Brahmaloka, but if on Brahmaloka one does not cultivate Krishna consciousness, then he must return to earth. Those who progress in Krishna consciousness on the higher planets are gradually elevated to higher and higher planets, and at the time of universal devastation are transferred to the eternal spiritual kingdom. Baladev Vidyabhushana in his commentary on Bhagavad Gita quotes this verse. Brahmana sahate sarve samprapte pratishanachare parashyante kritamanaha pravishanti parampadam. When there is a devastation of this material universe, Brahma and his devotees who are constantly engaged in Krishna consciousness are all transferred to the spiritual universe and to the specific spiritual planets according to their desires. So from this, what I can get is when we go to whatever it's called, theme parks or Disney World or anything. So what we do, we go to each and every exhibit and we spend money. So spending money is like the punya we gained in the material world. So we are using our punya in Pitraloka as we are spending money on each and every exhibit. So after that, what will happen? Okay, everything is done. Money is done. So we'll call parents or somebody, wire me the money. I don't have money, so put me in my debit card, but like put something in my account. It's something related to what we can say that when we do Pinda Pradhana, it is something like putting funds into the account. So by Pinda Pradhana, they'll get some more punya. The people who are in Pitraloka, they'll get some more punya and they use it. If that is also done, if nobody is doing Pita Pradhan for them, that will be exhausted too. So punya is done, whatever they gained by Pinta Pradhan, that is also done. So eventually they have to come down to the earth. So yeah, it's like again yo-yo. Well, sometimes they go up and come down. As soon as the punya karma is done, they have to fall down to earth and they have to start birth and death cycle again and again. So this is a never-ending process. So Prabhupada and Krishna explained that do the process of bhakti, so it will help you a lot. I want to end with this song by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. It's a really captivating song. I felt like crying when I'm reading this verse. यदि ते हरिपाद सरोज सुधारसपान परं हृदयं सततं परिहृत्य गृहं कलिभावमयं भज गोद्रुमकाननकुञ्जविधुम्. If your heart constantly yearns to be absorbed in drinking the nectarian rasa of Hari's lotus feet, then leave your home, which is full of miseries, of the age of Kali, and worship that moon of Godruma forest powers. Dhana yavana jivana rajya sukam nahi nitya manushkanana saparam त्यजग्राम्य कथा सकलं विफलं भज गोद्रुमकानन कुञ्जविदुम्. Wealth, youth, long life, and royal pleasures are not permanent and can end at any moment. Give up all your useless gossip and worship that moon of Godruma forest bowers. रमणी जनसंग सुखं च सखे चरमे भयधं पुरुषार्थहरम् हरिनाम सुधारसमट्टमतिर्भज गोद्रुमकानन कुञ्जविदुम्. O my friend, the pleasures found in the company of beautiful women eventually turns into fearfulness, luring you away from the goal of human life. With your mind intoxicated by the nectarian rasa of Harinama, worship that moon of Godruma forest powers. So it's a big one. I want to end here. It's really good to go through all the verses of 20 verses. स्मर गौर गदाधर केलिकलं भव गौर गधार पुक्षचरा शृणु गौर गदाधर चारुकतं भज गोद्रुमकानन कुञ्जविदुम्. Remember the playful pastimes of Gaur Gadadhara. Become a follower of Gaura Gadadhara's camp. Hear the beautiful narrations of Gaura Gadadhara and worship that moon of Godruma forest powers. So I will conclude. So only like we do, though we do all these duties, but we have to keep in mind that we don't want to come back and fall in the cycle of birth and death, but follow Prabhupada footsteps and follow the devotional service. So I will conclude here. If there is any discussion, I'm open, but I don't have any time. If there are no questions or comments, we'll conclude the session. Thank you. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyo cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Hare Krishna devotees. Thank you.